Hello, welcome to another tonal landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence. I'm Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Tutukaka Harbor. It is 3.5 by 5 inches, and I painted this about 2 weeks ago. I'm really stoked with this painting, and I'm equally stoked to be sharing it with you today. Now, we're working on some MDF here. It's been primed with two coats of house paint. They're kind of tinted to a sort of a pretty close to like a raw sienna kind of tone, maybe a little more muted. I don't want a real screamy color peeking around. So this worked really well. And I'm doing my underpainting right now with some burnt umber. A lot of times I might adulterate that with another color, but in this case I think I left it just plain old burnt umber. I thought that was working well with the color of the board and just leaving me room to go a little darker when I come in with the color stuff. Now, I do have a bit of reference that I'm using, and if you're interested what that might look like, we can join the members area and you'll see it flash up on the screen prior to the rest of the video. And that video will be real time in the studio, so it's like you're a fly on the wall there in the studio. This was pretty cool. It's not exactly like a 100% tutorial, but it's definitely a good learning experience. I recommend it if you're interested in that kind of thing. Okay, so yeah, I've been doing the underpainting. I've talked about that a lot. Underpainting is the design portion of the proceedings. We get a little bit of work done with value as well, but mostly it's design. It's establishing that composition. For example, see that little I was thinking of adding a little like a hill in the back there. I opted out, and I don't know if you've gotten into doing minis or not. There's a certain thing about doing minis though, and simplification is always extremely important. It's extremely critical for any painting, simplification and design. But simplification has got to be in the forefront when of the decisions that you're making when you're doing a mini, because you don't have room for a bunch of extraneous details or things that don't need to be there. Now, in a larger painting, you could add something like that, and if it was toned properly, it would just read like part of the sky. It'd be a little extra flourish you could throw in. It probably wouldn't make or break the painting, although those sorts of things definitely can do. Almost, unfortunately, I'm here to say almost any component of your painting can be the make or break if it's done incorrectly. That's just how it goes. Now, the more you paint, and more importantly, the more bad paintings you do, the less of those sorts of bad decisions will be made by you because you made them, you saw what happened, and if you have any wisdom at all, you just won't do it again. Now, obviously, we can point you in the direction of avoiding certain pitfalls, but in a lot of cases, man, I could tell you, like speaking about composition, there's a video on this channel that is going through the book Composition of Outdoor Painting by Edgar Payne, which is an excellent book that I bought about 15 years ago. And I learned a lot about composition from Edgar. It's probably the best book on composition that I know of. However, do you think that all the paintings I did after buying that book had excellent composition? No, they didn't. you know, they didn't. I wish. I wish. He did help me, and more importantly, sometimes the way he helped me was as I trolled on down the lane, I went, "Oh, yeah, that doesn't work." And he doesn't so much in his book go into things. He does go into what doesn't work, but he tries to point you in the direction of things that do work. And when you're talking about composition, certain compositional motifs are they're steady and reliable, and you like the steel yard. And the steel yard's when you have like a large mass on one side and a smaller mass on the other side, and they balance each other out. And that combined with something like the rule of thirds is, really the basis of 90% of my compositional ideas. I don't try to be super original, and maybe that's something I actually would like to talk about some more in this video. I don't always know what I'm going to talk about till I start talking, but I have been thinking about that a bit, and yeah, we're gonna have an ad for the book coming up. I think after that, we're gonna talk about being original, having or trying to be original is probably better stated that way. Since we'll just start now, and then we'll get the book, and then we'll just keep going because I got quite a bit to say about this. Let's start off with my particular take on being original, trying to be original, trying to create original paintings. I don't worry about it at all. Zero. I do not. Now, if I'm doing a study after a master, um, well, I do two things with the masters. I don't really, almost all the master paintings that I ever wanted to do a study of, I have done. And when I did those studies, I did my best to be very faithful to what they were doing, because the reason I was doing it was to get try and get the soul of what they were doing into my work. That's what I was interested in. Oh, we'll pick this up on the other side of the book. The book. We've got a lot of orders for the book this week. I just shipped out 3. I just took them down to the post office. So if you ordered one, it's coming. Don't you worry. And I will get it to you just about anywhere on the planet. We've had a few issues here and there, but most of them have actually, in every case, we've got the book there. So don't let that stop you from ordering this book. 13 years of accumulated knowledge. Working towards trying to paint in a toneless manner. There were no books out there for me. I did have some help, though. Good old Dennis Sheehan had a Dennis Sheehan's Academy. It was an online academy. That was around 2012, 2013, and he gave me some good pointers. God bless you, Dennis. I hope he's still going. I really don't know. I don't keep that well of track. Anyway, let's talk about originality. Hey, that's a good one, too, because... Oh, sorry for the sniffle. I noticed a lot of people that go through Dennis's thing end up doing paintings just like Dennis. Funny how that works, And this is one of the reasons why I don't... I do teaching here, but my favorite way to teach is just one-on-one and really try and help the student develop what they're into, what they're trying to do, as opposed to having a big class full of students. And I'm just basically taking them all along into how to do exactly what I do. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just not interested in it. I am interested in being original. However, I don't let certain things bother me. I don't let the fact that a million zillion artists before me have painted a sunset or painted a harbor or painted a tree or painted this or that. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. I don't worry too much about what other artists do. The exception of that being, of course, if I'm doing sort of a master study, but this also ties into one of the reasons I don't particularly care for the social media. There's amazing artists online, and they're putting their stuff up, and they're told they've got to do the whole marketing thing for the social medias and to get their career up off the ground. And I guess it works for some. For me, it's just a dead end. I don't like it. And one thing I really don't like is having to look at thousands of images on a daily basis. It just fries my synapses. So word to the wise there, just as an aside. That could be something that's messing with you. If you're on the social medias looking at a lot of paintings, other people's paintings all the time, it could be challenging for you to be original, eh? Since you're getting all these inputs. You're getting all this, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I'd like to do that. Oh, I'd like to do that. Oh, I think that's cool. Maybe I should do that. In fact, you've got enough of that going on. Maybe you will end up doing something original. But here's, I'll start off by saying I don't care if what I'm doing is original. I don't look to paint an original sunset. That would be silly. I also don't care if I've painted the scene before. I don't care if I've successfully painted a type of scene before and I'm now painting that type of scene again. And I don't see it as selling out to do that. I just see it as another day, another painting. And that's what I feel like doing. And I think that that's going to be a good thing to do. And maybe I might even feel that it's appropriate for the marketplace here. But... I don't worry too much about that. I don't worry about, oh, have I done this before? Is this original? And I gotta say, I do a lot of music. I don't worry about that on the music either. And I'll be honest with you, very few things I do ever sound like anything, exactly like anything I did before. And the same goes with the paintings. So I do think that artists starting out, a lot of people I talk to that are starting out or not done a lot of art, but they want to do something. Oh, I don't know what my style is. I haven't found it, or I don't really know what I want to paint, and they're looking. They think this idea of originality is extremely important. They think this idea of having a style is important, but my message to them and to you is that it's not at all important because it's just another consideration. Honestly, don't you have enough to do just trying to make a decent painting based off your reference image, or if you're outdoors painting than the scene in front of you? Isn't that already quite a lot? I would say what you want to do is just do your best to make a good impression from that, a good painting from that reference. Don't spend too much time. Make a fresh. We want a fresh, painting with impetus, an emotional impetus behind it, so we can see and feel how that scene made you feel. You don't need to worry about the style. Don't worry about the style. Don't worry about chucking a ton of details in there. Just worry about trying to make it look as good as you can, and then move on. Maybe you'll have ideas. And this is the thing, ideas should be hitting you as you're working. This is, in my philosophy of painting, painting is a three-way process. There's you as the person, the personality. There is the universe, which you could call God or universe or anything you want to call it. It's the creative principle that I think is behind everything. If you don't believe in that, that's okay. It doesn't really matter because something is going on. I don't feel I need to define it. And then there is the painting itself. There's three things going on. And if you pay attention while you're painting, you'll notice that not every decision you're making is a conscious decision. Some of them are unconscious. And be careful with that, because I was just talking with a mate of mine today who was in a different field. He's a carver. But he was talking about how, when he has a student of carving, they'll just keep chipping away. If you keep chipping away and you don't know what you're doing as you're chipping away, you're taking things away you can't put back. In the case of a painting, what's happening is a lot of times I'll see students lay down a stroke, and then they don't really know what the next thing they're going to do is, but they put 2 or 3 strokes down right on top of it, the whole time unsure of what they're doing, and really just messing up the sort of initial impression, the initial inspiration that they had, which what I would say to you is, if you were a painter starting out, don't overwork your stuff, lay down the stroke and move on. And at least your stuff will be fresh. At least we'll get an idea of how you felt about the scene. What happens when you just keep putting additional strokes down is you lose the whole impetus behind the entire proceedings, if you ask me. Anyway, back to the originality thing. We just got a minute to do. So I don't worry about being original, but I don't think anyone else's paintings look like mine. I've had my inspirations and influences. I've got, I don't know how many studies I've done after Georgia Ness. 100. It's in there. Yeah, Francis Murphy. Can you see them in my work? Sure, you can. And same thing goes for my music. I have my inspirations and influences, and people in the know could go, "Oh, I hear a bit of that. I hear a bit of that." But ultimately, it doesn't sound like anyone else, and that's fine. It'd be okay if it did. It doesn't really matter. And if it does, that just means I probably took too much from another source. So that's the last thing I would say. Don't just copy work from one artist, whether it's me or Georgia Ness or any other artist you think is great. Make sure you've got a lot of different influences coming in. And when you do your paintings, get your reference set up, make your painting. Don't spend all day doing it. Make it fresh, make it reasonably quick, move on, and then do another painting. Until I come back with another video for your edification, hopefully for your edification and enjoyment. Do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family, and please fight the power.